Welcome to the next section of amino acids and protein students. Last session in the first class we have discussed about the classification of amino acids, okay, and we have learnt about the structural formula of many amino acids. In the next session I have taught you about the synthesis of amino acids. Now we are going to discuss about the physical properties of amino acids. Physical properties of amino acids. Okay students, the first property is optical activity. Let us discuss about the optical activity. Salt like character. Next, meltings and boiling points. Okay students, let us discuss about the IR spectra. What does the IR spectra says? And the last point, let us discuss about the solubility. Let us discuss about all these 5 points of amino acids. Okay students, let me start with optical activity. All the amino acids are optically active except glycine. All the amino acids are optically active except glycine, because except glycine all the other amino acids have asymmetric carbon, I mean chiral carbon. Let us discuss in detail about it. For example, if you take glycine, HC, NH2, CH, COOH is the structure of glycine. Right students? Alanine, CH3, CH, NH2, COOH is the structure of alanine. Okay, what happened here is the carbon is connected to 3 different groups, but 2 groups are same. Hence it is not a chiral carbon, it is not a asymmetric carbon, or we may call it as chiral carbon. Chiral carbon or asymmetric carbon definition is nothing but the carbon atom which is connected to 4 different groups are called chiral carbon or asymmetric carbon. If you take alanine, not only alanine, all the remaining amino acids, if you take all the remaining amino acids, what happened here? If you observe, the carbon is connected to NH2 on one side, CH3 on the other side, H on one side and COOH on another side. So totally you have 4 different groups. So hence it is called asymmetric carbon. So except glycine, all the other compounds exhibit optical activity due to the presence of asymmetric carbon in them. If the asymmetric carbon is present, then the compound is of course optically active. But in glycine there is no asymmetric carbon, hence it is not optically active. And in optical activity, one more thing is that the amino acids follow the configuration of glyceraldehyde students. All the amino acids follow the configuration of glyceraldehyde. Of course, all the amino acids will have L configuration irrespective of the sign of rotation, whether it may be plus or minus. Okay, irrespective of the sign of rotation, it may be plus or minus, all the amino acids have L configuration. Okay. Okay students, if you observe here OH, H, CH2OH, CHO. Okay, this is the configuration of glyceraldehyde. Glyceraldehyde, L configuration of glyceraldehyde. For example, if you take OH, NH2, H, COOH and R. This is a general formula of amino acids. This is following the same configuration. L configuration of amino acid. This is the L configuration of amino acid. So hence it follows the configuration same as glyceraldehyde. This is about the optical activity. In optical activity, you have to write all are optically active except glycine, and all the amino acids follow L configuration of our what students? Glyceraldehyde. Next point, salt-like character. Of course, they have salt-like character. All the amino acids are non-volatile crystalline solids, right? Non-volatile crystalline solids. Next, coming to melting and boiling points, they have high melting and boiling points. This may be presence of both due to acid group and amino group. We have both acid group and amino group in amino acids. Due to the presence of acid and amino group, they have high melting and boiling points. Next, IR spectra. If you study IR spectroscopy, IR spectral studies of amino acid, what we observe that we are not observing the peaks we are not observing any spectra for free amino group and free acid group, which is a very important point. Here in this case, we are not observing any spectra for free amino group and free acid group. It is very important point. When amino acids, we are studying IR spectral analysis for that. We are not obtaining any spectra for free amino group and free acid group. About IR spectroscopy, you have studied in a detailed note in 4th semester, no students? Do you remember about IR spectroscopy? What is the full form of that? Infrared spectroscopy. Next, coming to solubility. Yes, amino acids are easily soluble in water, which is a polar solvent, and they are insoluble in non-polar solvents. Of course, in ether also. Insoluble in non-polar solvents like benzene, okay? And they are not soluble in ether also. These are about the 5 main physical properties of amino acids. Now, let us study the remaining properties which are exhibited by our amino acids. Okay students, let us study about dipolar amino acid as dipolar ion, which is also called as zwitterion. Hence, we study that amino acids are amphoteric in nature. We study that amino acids are amphoteric in nature. Amphoteric in nature means which has both the properties of acid and a base, right? Which has both the properties of acid and a base. If you observe amino acids, RCHNH2COOH. So, some of the scientists gave the information that amino acids are amphoteric in nature due to the presence of NH2 group, amino group and an acid group, COOH group. Due to the presence of an amino group, NH2 group and an acid group, COOH group, that's why amino acids are amphoteric in nature. But it was proven false. This is not because of the free NH2 and COOH group, they are amphoteric in nature. The reason behind this is, what happens is, if you take RCH NH2COOH, what happens here is, the H will be transformed from carboxylic group to NH2 group. So, you will get RNH3 plus I'm sorry, RCH NH3 plus and COO minus. Okay, it is a dipolar ion. What we are doing here, it's simply a shift of hydrogen atom from acid group to NH2. It is simply a shift of hydrogen atom from acid group to amino group. Okay students, so what happens here? A positive charge and a negative charge here. Positive charge and a negative charge here. Right students, this is called dipolar ion or Zwitter ion of amino acid, which is a very important topic in your semester. This ion is called dipolar ion or Zwitter ion. Very, very important students. If hydrogen is shifted to NH2 group, NH2 will become NH3 plus and COO minus. Due to these two properties, it is called as dipolar ion or Zwitter ion. Okay students? Let us write about the Zwitter ion. Right? NH3 plus COO minus. We are taking a general amino acids. I have written the Zwitter form. Now, the amphoteric nature of amino acid is due to this dipolar ion. The amphoteric nature of amino acid is not due to free NH2 and COOH group, but it is due to the dipolar ion. Okay, let us write. Here what happens in this dipolar ion? The NH3 plus is the reason for acidic properties and the COO minus is the reason for basic properties. Okay, NH3 plus is the reason for acidic properties and COO minus is the reason for basic properties. Let us write those. Basic nature, NH3 plus RCH COO minus. I am taking a general form of amino acid. If you add HCl, what happens students? The H proton will be taken up by COO. Okay, so you will get RCH NH3 plus and COOH chloride. We will get a product with as a chloride salt. Okay, salt formation takes place. Next, acidic nature. Okay, RCH NH3 plus COO minus plus NaOH. What happens here? RCH NH2 COO Na with OH minus. Okay students, COO Na with OH minus is formed. Okay, we will obtain this products. We will obtain this product with acidic nature. If you write acidic nature and add NaOH to Zwitter ion, you will get this product, sodium salt of amino acid. You will get sodium salt of amino acids. Right students, this H and this OH will be plus water. I am sorry, here you will get plus water. This is the basic nature of Zwitter ion and this is about the acidic nature of Zwitter ion. I have already discussed basic properties are exhibited by COO minus ion and acidic properties are exhibited by NH3 plus ion. Okay. Another important point of a Zwitter ion, dipolar ion. Another important point of a dipolar ion is that it has low Ka and Kb values. It has low Ka and Kb values. Ka is acidity constant, Kb is basicity constant. It has low Ka and Kb values. Let us calculate Ka and Kb values for zwitterion. Let me write this zwitterion. I hope by this time you have got to write zwitterion structure. You have got knowledge about to write zwitterion structure. COO minus plus water. COO minus plus water. So what you will get, students, here? H3O plus RCH NH2 COOH. H3O plus, I am adding H2 here. So R H3O plus RCH NH2 COO minus plus OH minus. Okay, students, water H plus OH minus. So you will, we are writing an H2. So that H will go to here. So H3O plus, that's all, no students? No OH minus. I'm sorry, students. RCH NH3 plus COO minus plus water addition, H NH3 plus will become NH2, so that this H will be carried out to water ion, so it will become H3O plus, and the product is that. Don't get confused, students, we get only two products. I am writing three products, right? Plus water. What happens here? RCH NH3 plus COOH plus OH minus ion. Okay, students, it's very simple. Here what happens? The H will be added here, COOH plus OH minus ion. I thought we will add there itself. No, we should not add like that. Here we are calculating Ka value, here we are calculating Kb value. Students, you have to take zwitterion. Here also zwitterion. Okay, students, and add water to that. You got two products. Yes, here also you have taken zwitterion, added water to that. Here in this case, the reaction has taken place here in the at NH3 plus, which shows acidic properties. Here the reaction is taken place here, COOH, and we have left NH3 plus here. You are observing the point, students? The reaction has taken here in this case, in the above case, and we did not touch the COO minus ion. Here in this case, the reaction has taken place near COO minus, and we did not touch NH3 plus ions. Let us calculate Ka and Kb values. Okay, students, Ka value. As we already know, concentration of the products by concentration of the reactant. So what you will get? H3O plus RCH NH2 COO minus by RCH NH3 plus COO minus. This is your Ka value. I have written Ka value by writing the concentrations of the products by concentration of the reactants. Let us write Kb value. What will be the Kb value? Again, concentration of the products by concentrations of the reactants. So this is acidity constant, calculation of acidity constant. This equation for calculation of basicity constant. So Kb is equal to RCH NH3 plus COOH into OH minus by, what is the reactant, students? RCH NH3 plus COO minus. This is your Ka and Kb value, students. Okay, students, please remember, I have got confused here. I have written OH minus, but you will get only two products. That's enough. Okay, students. Next concept is Ka into Kb value must be, Ka into Kb value must be 1 into 10 power minus 14. Okay, Ka into Kb value must be, in this case, 1 into 10 power minus 14. I mean the product of the basicity constant and the acidity constant must be nearly equal to 1 into 10 power minus 14 for amino acids. Okay students, for example if you take glycine, okay students, the Ka value for glycine is 1.6 into 10 power minus 12. Okay, this is the Ka value, acidity constant value, and Kb value is the constant value of basicity constant value of conjugate base. This is acidity constant, we have to take conjugate base, no? So this is the basicity constant of conjugate acid. Okay, you will get around 6.3 into 10 power, I hope this is 10 power minus 10, this is 10 power minus 5, the values are correct. And the basicity constant value is 2.5 into 10 power minus 12, and the acidity constant of a conjugate base is Ka is equal to 4 into 10 power minus 3. All these values product implies it should be nearly equal to 1 into 10 power minus 14. Why we have to remember these values? Yes students, we have to remember this is the acidity constant, conjugate base, basicity constant, conjugate acid. We have to remember these values because the product of these should be nearly equal to 1 into 10 power minus 14. That is one of the important point. And the next point is what does this value says us? This value says as the presence of NH3 plus group. And this value says that is aliphatic amines, presence of aliphatic amines, and this value says that aliphatic amines are present with a strong electron withdrawing group COO minus. So by these values we can confirm that it is aliphatic amino acid. So aliphatic amino acids give results that it may be a glycine. Okay students, by these values we can easily guess by performing the operations of Ka into Kb. Okay, by knowing the acidity constant values we can tell whether it is an aliphatic amine or not. Okay students, this is about the dipolar nature or Zwitterion of amino acids. Okay students, this is about the dipolar nature or Zwitterion of amino acids. Let us see some proofs about this. Evidences for dipolar structure. High boiling point is an evidence students. It has high dielectric constant, it is an evidence students. And in electrolytic case what happens here? Let us see one equation. Other proof is that IR spectra studies shows that there is no free NH2 group and free COOH group. So that result says that if they are not free, they are in ionization. That is, it boosts up that amino acid has dipolar structure. One proof is having high dielectric constant, the other proof is having high boiling points because of the presence of acid and basic group, and one proof is IR spectra does not shows the spectra for free NH2 group and free amino group. What happens in the face of electrolytics? If you do electrolysis, if you consider the electrolytic reaction, what happens? Let us see. If you take Zwitterion, here HCl, what you will get? RCH, NH3 plus, COOH and Cl minus. Here if you add NaOH, what happens? RCH, NH2, COOH, COONA, minus. Here it may be back by adding NaOH. Here it may be reversed by adding HCl. What does this reaction says? Here I am adding acid. Here I am adding base. It may be reversed by adding base here and acid here. Okay? Then we will get our Zwitterion back. if you add acid, you will get this product, and again if you add base, you will get our zwitterion. Here in this case, if you add base, you will get this product, and if you add acid, again we will get this product. Okay students, what happens here? Here the positive ion moves towards cathode, which is a negative electrode in this case. Here the negative ion moves towards anode, okay, which is a positive electrode in this case. So the positive ions migrating. The word migration is correct, moving towards anode electrode, and the negative ions moving towards cathode electrode. Okay, anode electrode, let me write anode electrode, and here it is moving towards cathode electrode. This also confirms the dipolar nature of amino acid, and it also confirms that amino acid is a zwitterion. This thing is about dipolar nature, or why we call amino acids as zwitterion. And the last property, students, isoelectric point. Isoelectric point. What is isoelectric point? If a charged particle is placed in an electric field, students, if a charged particle is placed in an electric field, what happens? The negative ions moves towards the positive electrode, and the positive ions moves towards the negative electrode. Okay, the same case happens in the case of amino acids. When the amino acids charged particle is placed in electric field, what happens? The negative ions moves towards the positive electrode, and the positive ions moves towards the negative electrode. At a certain time, at a certain pH. At a certain pH, what happens is the migration of ions towards positive and negative electrodes are stopped. The movement of the ions are stopped. That particular pH is called isoelectric point. Okay, at a particular pH, there is no migration of ions of amino acids when they are placed in electric field towards positive and negative electrodes. That point is called isoelectric point. Okay. Generally, all the amino acids are neutral. So, of course, we have acidic amino acids and basic amino acids also, but most of the amino acids are neutral amino acids. Okay, let us write the equation once again. Zwitterion. Here HCl. What happens, students? RCH, NH3 plus, COOH, Cl minus. And this will be back by adding NaOH. What happens here if you add NaOH? RCH, NH2, COOH, COONA and OH minus. And this will be back by adding HCl. What happens here? The positive ions are moving towards cathode electrode, and the negative ions moving towards anode electrode. Migration towards the electrodes, anode electrode and cathode electrode stops at a particular pH. That pH is called isoelectric point of amino acids. Then how we know whether the amino acid is a neutral character or acidic character or basic character? Simply we can know by conducting a pH test to that amino acid. If pH is in between 5.6 to 6.3, I hope students, around this, then it is neutral. If it is around 3, then it is acidic amino acid. If it is around 5.6 to 6.3, then it is neutral amino acid. Okay, if it is around 10.8, then it will be basic amino acid. Okay, basic amino acids. Okay, for neutral amino acids, let me give 4 examples. Okay, glycine, alanine, serine, threonine. You remember all the structure, students? Let us form a table. This is 5.6, this is 5.7, this is 6.0, this is 6.1. So I'll form a table and let you know the isoelectric points. Isoelectric point. Amino acid, pH, structure if possible, so that we'll get practice. Okay, glycine, alanine, threonine, serine, threonine. Okay, for glycine, what is the formula? HCH and H2COOH. Do you remember, students? For alanine, CH3CH and H2COOH, right? For serine, CH2OH, CH and H2COOH. For threonine, CH3CHOH, okay, CH and H2COOH. So it is around 5.6, 5.7, 6.0, 6.1, if I am correct. These are around 5.6, 5.7, 6.0, 6.1. What I said, if they are around 5.5 to 6.3, 5.5 about to 6.3, what I said, students, they belongs to neutral amino acids. These are neutral amino acids list and their isoelectric points. At this pH, the glycine ions will no more migrate. At this pH, the alanine ions will not migrate. At this pH, the serine stops migration. At this pH, the threonine stops migration. So stopping of a migration at a particular pH is called isoelectric point of that particular amino acid. Next, acidic amino acids. Aspartic acid, glutamic acid. They are around 2.8 to 3.2. This is pH. That is nothing but isoelectric point. So for aspartic acid, you have 2.8. For glutamic acid, 3.2. What are the structures, students? Let me write the structure here. COOH, CH2, CH and H2COOH. Here CH2, CH2, COOH, CH and H2COOH. Are you recollecting, students? I have given these structures in tabular form. You can recollect once more, okay? The isoelectric point of aspartic acid is at 2.8 and the isoelectric point of glutamic acid is 3.2. Here no migration of ions takes place. Next. Basic amino acids, arginine and lysine. For arginine, you have 10.8. For lysine, you have around 9.98 or 9. At this point, there is no migration of amino acids takes place. What is the structure of arginine? 10.8. It is not 108, students. It is 10.8. These are the isoelectric points. These are the isoelectric points. Okay, what is the structure of arginine? Let us write C double bond NH, NH2, NH, CH2 taken 3 times, CH, NH2, COOH. What is lysine, students? NH2, CH2 taken 4 times, CH, NH2, COOH. Okay, this is the structure of lysine, this is the structure of arginine, and these are the isoelectric points of arginine and lysine. I have already told the isoelectric points of basic amino acids will be around 10.8, I mean around 10, so that we can easily identify these as basic amino acids. So neutral amino acids 5.5 to 6.3 like that, and acidic amino acids around 3 you have isoelectric points, and for basic amino acids you have around 10.10, around 10. By this way, by using these isoelectric points, we can easily identify pH. By identifying pH, we can easily find out the name of the amino acids. These are all about the physical properties of amino acid, students. We have learnt about the optical activity, why it has solubility, the salt character, why the IR spectra is not showing free NH2 and free amino group, and finally what happens if an electricity is passed to a charged particle. And we also learnt about this Witter ion. In that we have learned acidic properties are due to NH3 plus and basic properties are due to COO minus. We have write the equations for acidic nature and basic nature, and we also calculated Ka, and I have also given so many Ka and Kb values for glycine, and the Ka and Kb values for amino acids should be equal to, students, 1 into 10 power minus 14. And finally, isoelectric point means nothing but at a point particular pH, the migration of ion starts in amino acids. Thank you very much, students, for watching this session. Let us meet in the next session.